let the first thing that you do be get into vibrational alignment with who you are, and then go out into the world. We're really encouraging, and if you've been listening to us lately, you're annoyed with us because just about all we say is go meditate. Go meditate. Because when you quiet your mind, you stop resistance. And when you stop resistance, then your vibration rises to the frequency of who you really are. And when your vibration has risen to the frequency of who you really are, now you're really in the receptive mode. And now you are able to receive the impulses from your inner being, who knows everything that you want and where you are in relationship to it, and can guide you to one satisfying moment after another. The other day, Esther was at the airport. We've told this story a few times. We like it so much. She was at the airport in San Diego, and she got there about an hour early. She usually does. And she was just sort of roaming around, following her impulses. She bought a bottle of water, and she sat for a little while, and she likes to sort of notice what's going on around her to some extent and enjoy the people, especially the children. And there are a lot of dogs at the airport these days, so there's a lot of entertainment to be had. So she was moving around, so she sat in one spot, and then she got the impulse to go to the restroom, and then she came back and chose another spot, and then she got the impulse to go buy a bottle of water, and then she sat in another spot, and then she sat in another spot, and then she went to check on the flight to see when it was coming. It was a little bit delayed, and then she sat down, and so she'd moved around a lot during that hour. And as she was sitting there, the man next to her, she had not noticed him before she sat down. It was just an empty seat, and he had his iPhone up to his ear, and he was listening to something without earphones, and it was very quiet. Esther could not really hear it, but then she heard the word vibration. So she tuned a little closer to him, and then she realized he was listening to Abraham. And so she said to him, "That's me." And he said, "Now I'm a believer." He said, "My daughter's been trying to get me to listen to this, and I'm just now listening to this. She's just not going to believe this." And Esther said, "Then we should take a picture." And then he said, "I'm going to call her." So he called and got her voicemail. And then Esther said, "We should call her back and I should leave the message." So they had a very good time. Now, Esther's inner being knew where he was, what he was doing, and how much he would like that. Esther's inner being knew where he was and what he was doing and how much she would like that. But Esther could not hear us say, "Esther, there's a man listening to Abraham, and you should seek him out." If she'd heard that, she would have said, "Shut up. Give it a rest." But she could hear, "Why not go over there? How about a drink of water? Why don't you go to the restroom?" Her path of least resistance was quite interesting until she sat there. And this is the thing that we want you to realize. If you take the time to meditate or appreciate, but it's easier to clear your mind than it is to change a thought from something less aligned to a thought more aligned, then what happens is those impulses just lead you more and more and more and more to that. So here's the thing that we really want to say to you. While you're hearing us pleading our case, doing our sales job about using the most powerful tool that exists to quiet your mind and therefore raise vibration, if you can hear us doing the best sales job that we ever do about getting to the receptive mode and the benefit of it to you, then what will begin to happen as you meditate for a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 is that you will begin to notice the difference in those days when you meditate and the difference in those days when you don't. You will notice a difference in your acuity, in your clarity. You'll notice a difference in what you rendezvous. Most of all, you will notice a difference in the way you feel. You'll notice a difference in your shock absorbers. You will notice a difference in your sea legs. You will notice a difference in how you feel when you rendezvous. You will notice a difference in what you bring to the table. You will notice a difference in your joy for life. You will notice a difference in how you feel. It is a noticeable, measurable difference when you deliberately start getting into the receiving mode and then watch what happens in a day that when you are receiving rather than thinking. It's different to think a thought than it is to receive a thought because you're thinking your thoughts from wherever you are on the emotional scale. So something may have happened. You may have some issue with some person. You may have watched something on television. You may really not be in a good mood, which means you're really not in sync with your inner being. And as you're rendezvousing with others, now you're thinking about things. And as you're thinking about things, that's far different than receiving about things. You see.